Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
I'm Will.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, from amorphous amphibians to asinine arithmetic. And today we're talking about
Asmodeus.
The Dungeoncast. All right, Brian. We're finally here.
We made it.
This is a big one.
We're here, baby.
Yeah. So Asmodeus is probably my favorite evil deity, period. He might be my favorite deity just because he's fucking scary and really compelling. He's very interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So let's talk about him.
Let's do.
So Asmodeus is the supreme ruler of the Nine Hells. His rule is undisputed. He commands fear, respect, and obedience for all who dwell in Baator. Even gods, namely Tiamat, although there are some others that dwell in Baator, have to give Asmodeus his due.
Right.
Basically, he's a total badass.
Yeah. Pay up to Asmo.
His origins are told, but not with any level of certainty. They're more presented as myths, and a lot of these myths contradict each other. But together they kind of give you a picture of the person.
It's like Lando and the Solo movie. He's like, everything you've heard about me is true.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very much like that. So some claim he's a fallen angel or celestial. Some say he's an ancient force of lawful evil incarnate. Some say he made Baator. Others say that it was given to him by the gods. Some even say that he's not the original supreme ruler of the Nine Hells, but he is a usurper. But none of it's really spelled out in certainty, except for in 4th edition, where everything is spelled out in certainty, and it's drastically different in a lot of ways from every other edition's lore, and we'll get into it.
So what do they say about Asmo and 4E? That's certain.
We'll get into it.
We are going to
There's
talk
a
about
lot
it.
to talk about, but on these things, all the counts agree. Asmodeus is the most powerful and ancient infernal being. Cool. He is insidious and cunning beyond comprehension. His machinations work on a grand scale of centuries and millennia rather than, years. He is the only archduke to rise unscathed from the reckoning of hell, which was a big rebellion event.
Unscathed.
Unscathed completely. Though he was once only an archfiend, he is now a deity, and how big of a deity and how he became a deity really depends on setting and edition. We'll get into that later. He's a master strategist. He's a master orator. It's said he once walked into Mount Celestia, which is the seven heavens, basically the antithesis of Baator. He walked in with nothing but his wits and emerged unscathed from there as well. His capability and competence. I think competence is a real key word here. I know that's kind of strange, but he's just so goddamn competent at fucking everything he does.
For sure.
His competence and capability are astounding and are matched only by his chilling arrogance.
Oh my God. So that reminds me of when I think we've talked about this before, people rising above their competency level and getting promoted to positions they probably shouldn't be in.
Right.
They were just so good at the last thing they were doing.
Exactly. Yeah, that happens a lot.
That is not Asmo.
This guy.
They're promoting from within, and they would have they would keep promoting him if it now wasn't up to him to promote everybody.
Exactly. That's very much true.
Nice.
So his goal, his overall deal is he wishes to rule the cosmos. Now, he believes that his rule over existence would be a utopia. Basically pristine and perfect, everything and every being in its place.
Would dress in
with
black.
a purpose.
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know. He is convinced that it has to be him that rules.
Okay.
He sees all his rivals as too inferior, and that the demons would literally just consume everything. He feels like the forces of good are too foolish, weak, and sentimental to do the things that must be done.
Nice.
And that only he has the strength, charisma, and insight to achieve this ideal future.
Thanos.
No. Dr. fucking Doom.
Oh, yeah.
This
I know, you're right.
Dr. Doom on crack.
Yeah.
And I don't mean any Dr. Doom iteration that's been on the screen. I'm talking about
comic book Dr. Doom.
This is
House of M, Dr. Doom.
No, House of M is Magneto.
No, yeah, but isn't Dr. Doom in House of M?
I don't know, but Dr. Doom's in
He's in everything.
the Children's Crusade after House of M.
Right. Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
But in Dr. Doom, basically... Marvel Comics time, Dr. Doom's deal is kind of very similar. I think he had a dream at one point where the world was going to end unless Doom rules everything. And Doom has many times in Marvel Comics basically attained the powers of a god, and he immediately becomes this benevolent dictator.
Right.
Don't worry, Doom's going to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be perfect.
But he's super evil all the way till he gets there.
All you have to do is kneel. Just praise me as a god and all will be well. That's Dr. Doom for you.
Doesn't he defeat himself usually?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Also,
Great.
Dr. Doom is hyper charismatic, super competent at everything he does. He's like a hyper genius. He's the second best sorcerer on the planet, and he time travels. Like, anyways.
Benedict Cumberbatch is the first strongest sorcerer on the planet.
Apparently. So enough about Marvel Comics. Let's get back to Asmodeus.
Okay.
So Asmodeus is usually depicted as a 13-foot tall humanoid with lustrous skin, black hair, crimson eyes, and a head crowned with like 2 pairs of sharp horns, like a pair kind of curving, let me see, this way, and then a pair curving backwards. Like
so
that.
one kind of like forward, kind of like mandibles almost, and then the back one is like, you know, more standard kind of curvy horns.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's noted to be incredibly handsome.
Ooh.
He wears red and black robes studded with black diamonds and rubies. It's said that one of his garments is so ostentatious and expensive that it would cost the equivalent amount of a nation's entire cost of food.
Ooh, shit.
Yeah.
Could Asmodeus look so good that not even Asmodeus could look at him?
Maybe, I don't know. Always with him, he carries his legendary ruby rod. It's the ruby rod of Asmodeus. This is both his badge of office, and it contains phenomenal cosmic power. How he gets it changes from edition to edition, and we'll talk about the ruby rod later.
The goal in your campaign is to not be touched by the ruby rod.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
First, you don't want to know where it's been because I heard he doesn't wash it. But secondly,
no, he polishes the shit out of it.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, underneath his robes, he hides grievous wounds that he supposedly sustained from his fall from heaven.
Ooh.
These wounds are constantly oozing blood on the daily, and each drop of blood becomes a powerful pit fiend or other devil fanatically devoted to Asmodeus.
Sweet.
So he's just
That's
so powerful,
awesome.
he's oozing power.
I'm just
at this point.
well, like I'm bleeding out, but not bleeding out, and also I'm making soldiers that obey me endlessly.
So let's
Also, can you imagine like a fucking just any creature like just walking and leaving a trail of blood and like shit starts erupting up out of it?
fucking scary.
That's
dude.
really bad.
So let's talk about some origins. Let's talk about some myths. I'm going to tell you a few stories here. First, let me drink some water.
Yeah, you cut this. If you cut this guy in combat, the blood's gonna fall on the ground, and like now you have to fight a bunch of pit fiends. Great.
It's true. I don't know how profusely it's bleeding.
Yeah,
I
and,
imagine
like,
like
how-
a single drop a day is what I'm.
Yeah,
envisioning.
probably. It's so a powerful. When you say powerful pit fiend, do you mean like a Balrog or like something like? Or
A pit fiend
is a thing,
is
right?
a thing. It's
Okay,
like one of
yeah.
the highest levels of devils.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah. I sometimes I wonder, like, does this ever happen at a really inopportune time? Like he's like eating dinner and then like a drop. Oh, Asmodeus, I serve you. It's like, oh, god damn it. Yeah, just
busy.
go. Just go.
I'm busy.
Report to
See
so and so.
You see what I'm doing? I'm busy. Get out of here.
Or he's having like a meeting
He's
with
like,
the other
the
archduke.
guy's like, oh, sorry.
sorry. I see Asmodeus is so cold.
Just,
and
like,
cruel. I
crushes
can see
him real
just-
quick, like,
he just
blah.
kills him real fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on. So, anyways, let's get to some origin myths. So, origin myth number 1. In this, we're going to talk about
Things that may be true.
things that might be true.
Probably.
So, according to one myth, Asmodeus was originally an angelic servant of the deities of law and good. He was the bravest, fiercest, and most beautiful of all the servants, and he kind of led them. Him and the other angels were basically created to wage war and eradicate the demons. After eons of fighting demons, Asmodeus and his other servants began to change both physically and psychologically. They grew more similar in appearance and in their like behavior to the demons that they fought. Basically, these angels were becoming devils.
Okay.
At this point, there weren't names for these things.
Okay.
But this transformation really upset the deities, who at this point tried to cast out Asmodeus as like a monster. But Asmodeus argues correctly that him and his servants have broken no laws and were completely innocent. Just because they did things in a way that the good gods didn't like, didn't mean that they had broken any rules.
Right. Okay.
So
It just didn't look good.
it just didn't look good. Wasn't a good look. So the gods are like, fine, whatever, and then go on to do their thing. They make the material plane and its various peoples. And because the abyss and demons haven't been taken care of yet, they like seal the prime material plane off from the other planes in ways that like demons can't get to it.
Right.
Basically, protected from the negative realms.
Yeah,
if you will.
like portal walls and shit, I guess.
But to the horror and confusion of the gods, people in general kind of suck. And despite the gods' instructions to not do bad things and not like open portals to the abyss and explore too far into the nether realms, people did it anyway.
Yeah, and Bahamut's like, I told him no.
Yeah, pretty much. Why won't they listen?
What else do I need to do?
So, it's like wizards seeking power, accidentally opening doors to the abyss, and then demons start pouring out, and then it's a whole fucking mess.
Yeah, it's usually one of my more favorite things that happens in a campaign.
So Asmodeus suggests at this point that the mortals need to be threatened or disincentivized in order to be obedient.
Right.
Excuse me.
Just probably a fair take on it.
Yeah, to a certain degree. So he convinces the gods to sign a pact called the Pact Primeval. This contract grants him and the devils of the plane of Baator the power to punish the souls of the wicked and to use them to both fuel their powers and to turn them into soldiers against demons. Gods are like, okay, that sounds fair. So all seems well and good to the gods until they notice an enormous decrease in the amount of souls coming to the upper positive planes. So they come and check out Baator, and they're horrified by like the endless hellscape of suffering it's become. Furthermore, they're furious at Asmo for actively tempting and luring mortals to evil for soul claiming. So they call him back to the upper planes. For a trial, they accuse him of overstepping the contract, to which he replies with some of his most famous words of, read the fine print. Like, it's all in the contract.
Yeah, right.
Y'all motherfuckers signed it.
Yeah.
So
they're like, haven't checked on you in a while, Asmo. What's going on? Oh!
It's at this point that he's hurled from the heavens and back into Baator, and he sustains his grievous wounds.
Okay. He got like dashed on rocks on the way down or whatever.
It doesn't end here for like this ongoing feud between the upper planes and Asmo, because later on at some point, the angels of Celestia really bring about a lot of accusations against him of like terrible crimes and laws that he broke and this and that, like trying to really get him on technicalities. And so, outraged by their accusations, Asmodeus demands the right to answer all these charges.
Okay.
In person.
Nice.
So this leads to an event known as the Trial of Asmodeus.
Asmo's just like one of the best fucking lawyers. He like just represents himself.
Exactly. It's exactly what he does. So both sides agree to have their case heard by a god named Primest. Primest, he's like he's the god of absolute law. He's completely neutral,
Forgotten
completely
Realms?
lawful. I think so. I'm not sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's a safe bet, right?
Yeah, it's a safe bet. So
Primest.
So a contract is drawn and everything. Everyone agrees to everything, and they make their case before Primest. Asmodeus makes his case first, I believe, and he makes a case that neither he nor his minions broke any laws or broke any contract by tempting mortals. He also points out that the souls harvested go to defend the cosmos from the hordes of the abyss, so it all goes to a good cause. He also goes on to point out,
okay.
Yeah, he also
that's a rough one, even if you spin it right.
I know, right? He also goes on to point out that he is beholden to the laws of Baator, because it is a lawful plane of existence, and compelled to maintain it, lest they become no better than the demons that they're fighting. He goes, mortals that refuse devil offers are left alone. Mortals that are clever enough to turn contracts against devils are free from debt. And nice. Yeah, only the people who sign the contracts are subjected to the torment of Baator. So he makes a pretty solid case for himself. But then it's the angels' turns. So the angels start like just listing crimes. Oh, he did this. Oh, he did that. Oh, he did this. And it takes weeks and weeks as all these angels are making their case, to the point where Primest loses his patience. And he's like, look, I'll let just a few more people speak, and then I'm going to make my judgment. So enter Zariel, who we're going to talk a little bit about. Well, we talked a little bit about her in the Nine Hell.
In Mordenkainen's.
No, Mordenkainen's, yes.
Yeah, because she fell from heaven.
She fell from heaven. She's an angel. But at this point, she is an angel.
Right.
And she's still good, technically.
Right. Because she hasn't fallen yet. Yeah. So she's like watching the...
Yeah, so she and her dudes kind of freak out because like she's not going to get a chance to speak. So she like pushes her way to the front, demanding to be heard. This turns into a scuffle, which then turns into an all-out freaking battle.
No,
and all the angels are battling each other, and Asmodeus is just standing there smiling because he just knew that they just couldn't control themselves.
Right.
Primest gets pissed off, tells off the angels, for not being able to control themselves. Decides that he's not making any judgments, and then he awards in this story. He gets the ruby rod because Primest awards him the ruby rod because the ruby rod will, compel him to be lawful.
Okay.
So you don't got to worry about him breaking the law, which he wasn't doing anyways because he's Asmodeus.
Right. Super lawful.
Yeah. So, and that's the tale of the trial of Asmodeus.
That's cool.
He wins yet again.
It's a good story.
So we're going to get more into Asmodeus. We're going to tell some more stories, and we're going to get into more lore. But first, let's take a short rest.
I like the rests.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the part of the episode where we're not talking about that last thing anymore. We don't give a damn about it. It's probably going to cost me my soul, but I don't care because I want to say thank you to you, the listener, for listening to this podcast. Thank you guys so much. We would be here without you, but it's a lot better that you're here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys coming on to the show. If you want to help us out, and we would appreciate it if you do, but if you just don't know how and you need some direction, here's the words you've been looking for. Look nearby at a person that's around you and tell them about our show. Or just like seek out someone to tell about the show. Basically tell somebody about the show, and hopefully they start listening to it. That's kind of how this whole thing works.
Mm-hmm. Word of mouth. It helps.
Yeah, please.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, please do. If you want to tell them where to find us, you can tell them about soundcloud.com/Dungeoncast. You can tell them about YouTube. Find us there. You can find us on Twitter at the Dungeoncast. You can email us at thedungeoncast@gmail.com. Hit us up there for story time or like critiques or whatever it is you got to say. Or if you want to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/thedungeoncast. And find us on Podbean, Podcast Addict, lots of stuff. Lots of different stuff. Is there anything? Do we need to say anything?
No.
Do we have plans for contests coming up again?
I'm running a poll right now, but by the time this episode airs, it'll be long done. But as of right now, fancy dice sets are super in the lead. So
okay.
Likely we'll be announcing a contest very soon, and
yeah, I see.
We'll
like
see what the prize is going to be.
Yeah, we're gonna run a contest soon. It'll probably be like some dice. It'll maybe a mini.
Yeah, we'll see. It's basically whatever you guys are voting on Twitter, and then I guess we might as well just announce it now. When the adventure Dragon Heist comes out in September, we'll probably be running a contest for that book around then.
Dragon Heist. Hadn't even heard of it. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Well, thank you for telling me that, and thank you for the listen. Thank the listener for listening. Thank you, listener, for listening.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Back to the show.
Back to the show. And we're back.
Asmodeus.
Okay, so that's we last were talking about like the trial of Asmodeus and how Primest gave him the ruby rod and yada yada yada, and isn't Asmo so smart?
Right.
Basically, the moral of that story. So let's talk a little bit about 4E lore because it's drastically different. Well, it is drastically different, but it's still very much the same as Asmodeus.
Yeah, everything goes from like mythic to defined.
Very much so. So in 4E, it's established that Asmodeus is an angel, again, the highest, most powerful, beautiful angel, in service to a god who is so ancient, no one knows his name anymore. It doesn't matter because he's dead anyway.
Super
but we'll
dead.
Get into that.
Okay.
Basically, they were created for the same thing, to fight the demons in the abyss, yada, yada, yada.
Right. That old chestnut.
Yeah, that old chestnut. So in the Abyss episode, we'll talk about like the origins of the Abyss in more detail. But in 4th edition, the origin of the Abyss is this thing called the Seed of Evil.
Okay.
And it's like the heart of the Abyss. I think
we've talked about that before.
Yeah, and the Abyss kind of grows from that.
And it expands endlessly, right? Is that how
very
it
much so.
Okay.
So basically, as Asmodeus and the angels are fighting the demons, they're kind of slowly turning under the influence of the evil of the Abyss. And alongside the influence of Pazazu, who is a demon lord, who will get his own episode, Asmodeus kind of gets pushed in the direction of trying to claim the heart of darkness, or not heart of darkness, but the seed of evil for himself.
Okay.
He plunges himself deep into the abyss, and he's the only being to ever successfully do this. He reaches the seed of evil, or the shard of evil. I think it's actually called the shard of evil.
Did he have to use a keyblade?
No.
Okay.
But he gets there. He can't claim it all, but he breaks off a piece of it.
Ooh, okay.
And he claims it for himself.
I like that.
Transforming him into the Archfiend of Asmodeus.
Nice.
And he forges this shard of evil into his ruby rod.
Ooh.
He then uses this to kill his former master.
Hell
and
yeah.
become a god. He actually becomes a greater deity at this point. And then basically the entire Blood War from then on isn't about devil stopping demons. It's about Asmodeus getting to the shard of evil so he can claim the rest of it. And the demons are actually super pissed off because they want the shard of evil that he has back.
Okay, yeah,
and
totally.
that's the premise of the Blood War in 4th edition.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like it's an ongoing war for like a much more what's the word I'm looking for? Not
it's like capture the flag.
Trivial.
Yeah,
I guess you could call that more trivial,
back.
but also like if Asmo gets a hold of that shard of evil, it's all over, man.
Yeah, they got to stop him from getting back in there and getting the rest of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if like a devil stole a demon, it has like a demon thing going on. Is he like more than just a devil? Well, Asmo is Asmo, but is he like, did he become like,
what?
I don't know.
What are you asking me?
I don't know what I'm asking you.
Okay. Well, in 4th edition, Asmo, he's so powerful, he's a greater deity that in order to kind of take the heat off the war on his end, he grabs the abyss as a whole and hurls it into the bottom of the elemental chaos. So far away from Baator.
Nice.
So now they can invade, and demons have a hard time getting to Baator.
Right. Okay.
Drastically different lore, but there it is. So in 5th edition lore, Asmodeus is also a god, but this comes about in a much, much different way. So during 4th edition, in Forgotten Realms, there was an event called Dispel Plague. Basically, goddess of magic dies, magic goes haywire, shit gets bad for everybody.
Ooh.
There's another god. His name is Zeus. I like Zeus a lot. He's really cool. He's the god. He's like a minor deity in service of the goddess of magic, and he is the god of like spell casting and wizards and whatnot. So he's kind of like, while she is like magic incarnate, he's like about the science of magic.
Okay,
and
yeah,
the learning
totally.
of magic. He's like the academic part of it all.
He's got a chalkboard. There's formulas on
Right.
it. Nice.
Well, when the weave fucking whiplashes and magic explodes, Zeus gets launched out of the heavens and falls to Nessus. Asmodeus sees him, finds him, kills him, absorbs him.
Oh,
He's a god now. Now this
Asmodeus
gets
is
retconned
also
later.
Majin Buu.
Right. This gets retconned later. But when this happens, like he absorbs Zeus' divine spark and becomes a god. And he gets like the domain of knowledge and shit from this. Later on, as wizards tried to distance themselves from 4th edition and from the Spell Plague and a bunch of other stuff. They had like the Second Sundering and a lot of other stuff happens. It gets revealed that he didn't actually absorb a Zeus spark. He just fused himself with the Zeus and they had to share the same body. So he was using the divine spark as an energy source. And I guess the argument here is like...
He ate him.
Huh?
He ate him?
He kind of ate him.
He ate him.
Yeah, but the
like King Kong.
I guess so. The argument here is that he didn't want to be influenced by the spark itself because I guess he would gain like the domains of like magic and other stuff that he didn't really want. Yeah, I guess he didn't want it to affect his being.
Yeah, don't sully my me with your you. I just want to be more powerful.
Very much so. So basically,
I'm gonna do it by just like.
But eventually he becomes unstable because Zeus is a god. And he ends up making a deal with another god named Alile, who basically in exchange for bringing about some immortal being back to life that Alile, I guess, cares about a lot, Alile agrees to give up his spark. So Zeus reforms afterwards.
Okay.
He's himself again. He goes off to do his stuff.
Yeah, he's like, wow, that sucked.
Alile dies,
Back to
and
me.
Asmodeus gets to be a god.
It's Alile, not Belial.
It's Elil. He's a good
I
deity.
was hoping it was A because I was going to make a joke about it being the prototype of Belial.
No, it's
Okay,
super
never mind.
not. This Alil or Alil, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It doesn't matter. No one cares about this god anyways. He's just some random good god who did something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
here's a strange thing that happened with a magic god.
This is like comic book retconning
Yeah.
at its worst. It's God, Forgotten Realms frustrates me.
They're
because
like,
it was
never
fucking
mind,
cool.
never mind.
Zeus was awesome.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it was even more awesome that he died because he was awesome.
Right.
And like the fact that Asmo did it, it just was really cool and compelling to me. But no, you had to retcon it because people like Zeus. So we're gonna have our cake. We're gonna eat it too. Here's Zeus. Asmo's still a god, and no one cares about Alile. Moving on. So, as a god, Asmodeus has dominion over tyranny, knowledge, and torment. Those are his domains.
Nice.
He rules them with an iron fist.
Cool. Iron fist in it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know. Any questions about like Asmodeus' divinity or anything like that before we move on?
No, I'm more like about the day to day right now. What's the day to day like for Asmo?
I mean,
once a day he's gonna make a pit fiend.
Sure. He rules. We're gonna get into that when we get into like his power set.
Okay.
because dude's got a long list of power sets, but he rules Baator completely. He can like transform entire layers at his will.
Right. Okay.
He's nigh impossible to defeat on his home turf.
Right. So is he doing stuff like through the power of being Asmo, or is it the Ruby Rod that's like kind of he channels his energy through? Or like
He
what's
does
that?
stuff through the power of being Asmo. The Ruby Rod is more about like hand-to-hand combat. Don't fuck with him.
Oh, so it just hurts if you get hit with it a lot.
There's a lot to the Ruby Rod. It's got a whole list of fucking powers.
It's
which
just
we're gonna
a
get to.
long, skinny infinity gauntlet.
It's a legendary artifact with like it's like 17 magic items fused into one, basically.
It's like the power pole from Dragon Ball.
Sure.
No, it's not.
No, it's not at all. Not even slow. Not
Okay.
even close. So let's talk a little bit about his cults, because Asmodeus' cult is bigger than all the other Archduke's cults combined. On top of it, all the cults that are dedicated to the other Archdukes are also by proxy dedicated to Asmodeus.
That tracks.
So
that
it's a
tracks
little
with
bit-
me.
He cheats a little bit, but also like it's just
He's Asmo.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Jinx.
Yes, his cult is so prolific that it said it has infiltrated all levels of society. Period. End of story. His path and dogma leads to power and influence. So his clerics tend to be people with powerful magnetism and like
Ambition.
Really ambition. They're natural leaders. These are the type of people that serve him, and these are the type of people to rise to high places in
It's just
society.
like a dangerous situation all around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This dude's a threat to the cosmos, without a doubt.
Cool.
His cult is known for incredibly strict rules, incredibly harsh punishments, and incredibly tempting rewards. And that's kind of the whole Lawful thing. It's like, look, you do good, you're gonna get great stuff, but don't fuck up because I'll kill you. Like,
Don't fuck up. I'll kill you.
Yeah. All right. So
okay.
Their dogma is essentially seek power over others. Always give an eye for an eye, exploit any kindness, and show no compassion for the weak. So, sociopath.
Yeah. Win forever.
Yeah, be a sociopath is essentially what this
Cool.
is. Yeah. They use phrases like promoting personal excellence and independence. And when harming others, they consider it like providing motivation to succeed.
Yes.
Very corporate, very again soulless.
Black and white contractual obligations.
But their most famous phrase is
At will employment.
no.
Oh.
Their most their most famous phrase is "No gods, no masters,"
Ooh.
because he's basically saying, "Why serve the other gods? What do they give you? They don't give you anything. I give you the ability to be free and to do what you will.
Just sign here.
Yeah, just sign here. Exactly.
No gods, no what?
No gods, no masters.
No gods, no masters.
because you are the god. You are the master.
Part of the ship.
self-worship.
Also part of the ship, part of the crew.
Yes, very much so. But he leaves that part. That's the fine print.
That's the fine print. Yeah.
So the rituals and practices are deeply secretive, which is an easy way of saying we don't want to write anything. So make it up.
Fair. Yeah.
Which is fine. It's probably better.
That freedom is always like, I like how liberal they allow the player to be in some instances. I'm okay with that one.
It's better. It's just better.
There's
to
a
do
lot
it
of
that way.
detail here as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So okay, let's talk about where he lives. So he lives in the lowest level of Baator. It's called Nessus.
So this is like an appendage to our Nine Hells episode.
Yeah, we're continuing now.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Will. That's Brian. Wait, hold on.
No, we're good. Let's just keep going.
All
So Nessus, the lowest layer of Baator, is a blasted wasteland crisscrossed with deep fissures. These fissures are incredibly deep. They're dark pits, a lot of them without bottoms, or some of them without bottoms.
Okay, cool.
It's unclear. They're unfathomably deep.
Okay, nice.
By design, Nessus is devoid of activity. This is because Asmodeus values his secrecy and his privacy very highly. He doesn't trust fucking anybody. Basically, only the absolute necessary staff exist on this plane,
Nice.
which is mostly him, his most trusted servants in his like little citadel.
You could call it a skeleton crew.
Yeah, sure.
good.
That. So yeah, only his most trusted vassals and archdukes even know the way to his lair. His citadel is called Malshim, and it exists in the deepest fissure of Nessus.
Okay.
I don't know if it's floating or if it's like embedded into the wall, but it's just this gigantic fortress.
So now calling it the deepest fissure implies that
It's
it has
bottomless.
a bottom.
No.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. It is a bottomless fissure.
So is it the only bottomless fissure? How is it the deepest?
I guess you could say it's the only bottom.
It has less bottom than all the other bottomless pits.
The other ones might have bottoms, but we know this one doesn't.
This one definitely not.
This one falls away into the nothing.
If you look really far, I dropped that flashlight 500 years ago. It's still falling.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
It ran out of battery. You can't see it.
And the reason the Archdukes kind of know the way there is because Asmodeus, like once every few centuries, calls all the Archdukes to attend him.
Okay.
He even frees Levistus from like the ice and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
To come. Like everyone comes, they have to. That's like the only time Dis leaves this tower and all that other shit.
Right.
Check out our Nine Hells episode for all that info.
It gives everybody a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, it does. I'm sure. It's got to be stressful.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's where he lives. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to know?
So it's just a bunch of fissures.
It's just a wasteland. It's a barren wasteland
pictured like
with a bunch of fissures.
Mars, but not red and like dark blue, icy blue instead. I don't know.
No, it's red.
It's red. Oh, it's like flaming hell.
Yeah, it's like Mars.
Oh, so it's like Mars.
Yeah, you're picturing it right with fissures.
Nice. Well, Mars has fissures.
Okay, so it's like Mars,
but just with more bottomless stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
So is there like a castle down there? You said?
Yeah, it's a giant citadel called Malshim.
Okay, that would be really cool.
Yeah,
I bet it looks like that one in Frozen. That's just like a bunch of fractals or whatever. It's just like attached to the side of this cliff or whatever.
Yeah, sure, Brad.
Nice.
So we'll go with that.
Just pictured that.
So let's talk about his power sets.
Please.
So he's not statted out, and I don't think he ever will be. Because if it has stats, you can kill it, and you shouldn't be able to kill him. So,
okay.
I mean, if you were to stat him out, his CR better be like 42.
42 is high.
I mean, it ought to be. Like, he's the Archduke of all hell. Like,
yeah, I mean,
let's talk about like the things that we know he has as power. So he constantly emits this powerful aura of submission that literally forces anyone without extremely powerful will to immediately grovel and ask to obey.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's just how he walks around. That's how he wakes up in the morning.
To some groveling.
Yeah, indeed.
Nice.
He has the power to alter. We said this already, but he has the power to alter any and all layers of the of Baator to whatever he pleases.
Cool.
And he does this. We talk about this a little bit in the Nine Hells. He can curse and transform the Archdukes at will. He may not be able to just outright kill them, although with what was her Malagar, the Night Hack, he did outright kill her.
Okay.
But she kind of
technically not a...
Yeah, she wasn't quite an Archduke anyway.
Right.
Like, she was just made an Archduke.
She's kind of killable. Okay.
Exactly.
So, but he has like he can manipulate like everything in this realm.
Impotent.
Right.
Not impotent. He's almost
omnipotent. Yeah.
While he's in Baator. Yeah, you know what I meant. That's what I meant. So yeah, he can work almost any spell of magic at will while he's in Baator.
Wow, cool.
Power word kill, done. He could just Avada Kedavra for days.
Finger guns.
Yeah,
Avada Kedavra style.
He could. He wouldn't, but he could.
He could.
So yeah. So he's got that. Let's talk about his Ruby Rod. So his Ruby Rod gives him access to like really powerful offensive and defensive spells that he wouldn't normally know.
Okay.
So it boosts his magic potential through the roof. It also gives him an aura of self-healing and an aura of fear. So
nice.
He's causing fear, he's causing submission, and he's self-healing.
Nice.
All at the same time, all the time.
I mean, maybe, does he always need heals because he's always wounded?
So those wounds are like not healable via spells.
It's like when you scoop somebody's max HP off the top. Like you have 10 less max HP.
Yeah,
like that happened to him a long time ago.
Very much so.
Okay.
He's been siphoning mortal souls and their power to heal himself.
Oh, okay, cool.
His plan is to heal himself completely and then start making real big power moves.
Nice. It probably just takes a lot of souls to close those wounds.
Exactly.
Okay.
So okay. So his Ruby Rod also gives him like various elemental attacks like necrotic and ice, basically whatever he chooses. He can just fucking blast you.
Sweet.
On top of it, a mere touch of the Ruby Rod on your skin can just cause opening grievous wounds. And he can just slam with this motherfucker as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's very powerful.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I got that across.
So if you were
he's OP by design.
If you were gonna set up let's say there's a cut scene in your game and you like somebody's gonna fight Asmo and you want it to be close, who are you picking?
What do you mean?
Who are you picking to fight Asmo to make it close?
From like, amongst other like beings of power? Or
yeah, like your players are gonna watch something go down. You know, like who are you picking to fight Asmo to make it a close fight? Not necessarily win, maybe win.
That's tough. If it's on Asmo's home turf, I just don't think it's going to happen. Like,
okay. That's usually how... Have you seen those Discover Channel? Like, this is what would happen if a bear met a crocodile.
Right.
You know,
let's
it's like
do that.
Well, where are they?
Where are they? So let's just let's put them in what's the
Final Destination
Final
from
Destination.
Smash Brothers.
Let's put them in Final Destination.
Okay.
I mean, any of your like really powerful greater deities is gonna have a pretty good shot.
Bahamut?
I mean, Bahamut, he's a minor deity. I think he has a pretty good shot because that's about the power level that Asmo is at. Outside of Baator. Minor deity plus Archduke. So maybe he'd probably win in that fight. But if you put him up against a greater deity, he'd probably lose.
Or like Bahamut and all the his 7 gold dragon posse or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they'd probably take him pretty easily.
There we go. I would say Bahamut plus his posse, even fight.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I would say Asmodeus is a minor deity, and then on top of it, he has the Ruby Rod and the Archduke powers.
Yeah,
because he had powers before deity.
Yeah, he's like self-healing and
Bahamut
shit. Okay.
is a deity, and he's a deity of dragons. I'm sure he has his own magic items and shit too. Plus 8 legendary fucking gold dragons. I would say that's a pretty even fight in a Final Destination situation.
Yeah, right. Okay, fair. So, like, reset the stage to, was it?
Baator?
Baator, and it's over.
Yeah. Oh yeah, done. Just like
so in Baator, who are you?
Even without him calling all his host of devils and archdukes, even if it's just him, like he could transform the terrain at will. He can cast endless magic at will. Like, yeah, he's just gonna be nigh unstoppable.
Okay,
I mean,
so nobody.
So yeah, not on his home turf. Just no way.
Okay, sweet.
I
mean, that's pretty. If you get through all of the layers of the 9 hells and you're trying to take that area, it's not going to go well.
No, it's just not,
because the land is like constantly doing that thing from Inception or Doctor Strange, I guess, depending on what you're watching, where the buildings are just like rolling over the bad guys.
The thing is, like, as a god and as like the supreme ruler of the 9 hells, like the 13-foot tall humanoid you're looking at is honestly probably just a representation. Like, he very likely permeates the entire plane of existence. Like, he is Baator.
Fair. Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's just,
I get what you mean.
He's a god. He's not contained to this body.
Okay.
So yeah, there it is.
So real quick, do you think that I think personally that Doctor Strange is the sequel to Inception, very loosely.
Okay.
I just want to throw that out there.
What does that have to do with anything?
Let's get back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, let's not, because I think I'm done. I don't. Do you got any more questions about Asmodeus?
Man, I've been saying some whack shit at the end of the episodes and not knowing it's the end of the episodes.
Yeah. That's your sign off. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got on Asmo. I hope I painted a pretty clear picture.
Who's his best friend? His daughter?
No.
Wait, does he have a daughter?
They're more like rivals.
Oh no, that's the next. The next one down has the daughter. No. Remember the next guy down is like the crazy one.
Oh yeah, Mephistopheles.
Yeah, that guy.
So Mephistopheles, they're not best friends, but they have like almost like a Vegeta Goku relationship.
Yeah,
where it's
totally.
Like no one could kill you but me. That's Mephistopheles speaking.
Right.
Except for I don't know the fuck he's talking about. There's no fucking way he could take on Asmo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's the second most powerful, but that's like comparing like, I don't know, a red giant to a regular yellow sun in like magnitude. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's just like,
I get you.
Yeah, sure. You're also a fucking star, but this one's 1,000 times bigger than you.
Superstar.
Yeah. So
Okay.
There it is.
Well then. No, I don't have any questions. It was a good episode, I think.
Okay, we're gonna call it a game.
I had fun.
We're gonna talk to you guys later.
Bye.
The Dungeoncast. For all the haters, like.
I hate when haters are like. This one's for the haters.
Yeah, sure.
Haters is how you measure your growth.
Then we be growing.
The Dungeoncast, we be growing.